I'm Vaidya Radhapriya from Bengaluru, Karnataka, India. I myself graduated from Government Ayurvedic Medical College, Mysuru, and post-graduation in Rasashastra from Taranath Ballari College, the Taranath Government Ayurvedic College from Ballari. I've been practicing from almost 2010 till now, and I'm like being specialized in Nair Pariksha diagnosis through Nadi pulse examinations in my clinics, and that's the only diagnostic tool what I use to diagnose with the patients. And usually, I don't send to any laboratories for any test until and unless patient questions me back. My journey of learning Nadi Pariksha was a very divine phase where I should say I was fortunate to meet many of my gurus who tuned me and who made me what I am today. And the journey was divine and spiritual, which made me to understand the other side of the life or other side of the purpose of the birth. Otherwise, I want every Ayurveda Vaidya to start understanding and implementing Ayurvedic diagnostic tools so that they can justify their role as a Vaidya in the society. And seeking the blessings of Krishna Kumarji for this talk, where because of him I'm here, collaborated with AVP today, and he was the one who inspired me to give and talk and teach Nadi Pariksha to the students and interested people. And otherwise, and I'm always grateful to AVP Institute for all this efforts what they are making to reach out to the students and otherwise the publics for their services what they are doing. They are doing exceptionally well, and we always support AVP Institute with the blessings of Krishna Kumarji. And going ahead, I want to start this topic with taking case examples, couple of case examples. I don't want to elaborate too much, and there are pretty good cases, and there are hell number of cases, but I have selected only 3 of it for today's talk. The first one, this was very first after I started my own setup. This was a very first case of mine where I dealt with such a kind of interventions. The case age was 18 years old and a male. I don't want to mention the name here. And he presented himself with a chronic loose stools, watery loose stools, and emaciation and aruchi tiredness. He had almost lost 18 kgs by the time he met me. So one more thing I want to say before I start the case studies. So whenever I say the patient met me or came to me, approached me, that means they would have circled almost all pathis before before they come to a Vaidya. Earlier, this was the scenario. Now it has changed. The patients come directly to the Ayurveda Vaidya. So by then, this case was presented me after 45 days of the initial symptoms, where when he came with emaciation, severe emaciation, tiredness, aruchi, and the pattern. After thorough examinations, I decided that this needs some other interventions so that he can get better. So I guided him what all to be done, and then I gave only 2 or 3 medications. One among them was Dhadimadhikrita and Swarasa and everything. Before medication, I had asked him to perform certain things, certain activities, for which he started showing improvement, where the number of loose stools was decreased. Happy for that, and he started showing interest to the food, which was, and then the patient started taking the medicines, and he gradually took like almost 28 days to completely recover. I even don't say it's a complete recovery because it's only 90% till date, because he is destined for certain things and no one can change it. And even today he is fine and he's doing very good, and he's working for some IT industry, and I'm happy for it for him. And the second case goes with the patient named Dayanand, and he flew from Delhi, and he wanted to consult me. He presented with a peculiar characteristics like arrogance, a hell lot of arrogance, and a very negative attitude towards anything. particularly anything. Whatever you say, he had that negative attitude and loss of appetite. He had no interest of having food, nor the sight of the food was not appreciated, and he was not able to withhold any sounds, nor even a pleasant sound like a hello or namaste. He was getting very much irritated, and so he became a chronic smoker as well. While consultation only, he went out for smoking for almost 6-7 times. So he had, and every time picking up for a fight. There are a lot of constipation, emaciation, and this case, I gave only two options when I again tested him with all the clinical aspects. I only said I gave him two options. The first question was, "Are you willing to take up the treatment?" So you don't believe these certain things are very silly, but they are very very important gestures or important. Clues what we get. He almost took 2 hours to decide whether he need to continue the consultation and take the treatment. So this made many things clear to me, and then he came up, and then certain things were said to him to perform and do and japam everything. I asked him to come after a week. So he was very reluctant. He was not happy for his visit, and so many things were across his mind. Later on, somehow, God willingly, somehow he managed to do. And next time, before 7 days, he approached me and he said, "No, I need to go ahead. I need to start therapies, either internal or external therapies, whatever you say. I'm ready to do it." And after that therapy, he has reformed into a completely a new person today. And even he's married and having a child, and he's really very, very happy. And next case, a very recent, I picked up one case very recent at times, and which is under progress, which we are still studying, doing the treatment. This person suffered lower back pain for almost 15 years, and so one surgical intervention was also done. And he approached me in 2018 first time, and I said, I can only put you on some basic medicines right now, and it's not the right time to me to intervene in your lower backache. And he was surprised. Basically, he was very surprised listening to a Vaidya who is telling like that the time is not good. And then later on, every time he comes, I used to give some basic medicines, because every time he used to ask, I used to say, "No, this is not the right time. Let's wait." And very recently, we put him on a actual treatment, what to be done. After, in this duration, in between this duration, I had said him to do certain things which he thoroughly followed, because he was exhausted with his condition. And then after that, he uh, whatever I say may be exaggeration, but that what happens here. And he was 90% okay in 5 to 6 days. And on and off, it happens because of the reasons behind it, and I have told how to overcome those. And even today, he's fine. And I included this case because today I met him. So that was one example that I thought it is a very good example to share with. And along with the medications, is following what all has been said. And this is one successful story. And the other many infertility cases here in India, we believe infertility is directly related to the daiva, you know. So I can explain you how it goes in a later part of my talk. And then number of infertility cases, and otherwise number of balagraha, and all these are very common things what we can relate to the topic for today. And otherwise, we always need to understand where this particular Daiva word can be fit into. It is based on, we should always consider the Adhikara or the Tantra or the scope or the limitations. So the word Daiva has been explained in all the three lingas, that is three Pumsa and Napumsaka linga. So when it comes to male gender, where it is called as Deva, which we can directly relate it to the Visheshana Rupa of Daiva. And Daivi Chikitsa, which is explained in Vaishya Ratnavali, say it's related to the Rasa, Uparasa, Dhatu, and which is also called as Shrestha method of treating. And then Napumsaka Linga, where it has been said as Daivam, which has been connected to the deeds which are done in previous life and its outcomes. So, according to Ayurveda, we should consider Daivam means Purva Janmakrita or Adrushta, that is, which is not perceivable or beyond our perception. That's what we need to consider when it comes to the Daiva. And even in Vimanasthana, Charaka explains Deva Purushakaravada. He says, Atreya mentions Daivam means Purva Janmakrita Karma. And even Gangadhara opines the same. And when we come into the Daiva Vapashra Chikitsa concept, Chakrapani says that word Daiva means Adrushta or maybe Daiva. Whatever we see is to be, whatever we can't see beyond Drishyam is considered as Daiva. So, the other aspect why we need this is also very important to understand. Basically, the human body is made up of tridoshas. Tridoshas are made up of, Panchamahabhutas. And this Panchamahabhutas are formed again, gunas and mahat, ahankara, and then purusha, prakriti, and then is avyakta. So, when you are, this Daiva Vyapashya Chikitsa, what all we are having in that, which are all involved, is nothing but Panchamahabhuta Chikitsa, indeed, in a very simpler way. When you are doing some japa, that's a shabda involved. When you are doing a homa, a fire is involved. When you are using some dharana, some earthly materials where is involved. So all Panchamahabhutas are involved, which acts as a media to help the person to attain avyakta avastha, which is very important. When he reaches an avyakta avastha, the nature takes its call to clear or heal or neutralize the things which is happening in his life. So all these Panchamahabhutas, which is explained in this concept, so are a very good media where you can turn that person and take it to the neutral state and heal that person. Not you, the Prakriti, the nature is healing. When you want the person to take to that state, it's obvious that you should be in the same, or else it's very difficult to make it happen to the other person. So even the Vaidya should be in that state and be able to take the patient to that level and leave the Prakriti to take its actions and to the needful. So this is the very technical way of understanding Daiva Vyapashya Chikitsa. When the person enters Avyakta Avastha, it is very easy to connect your Yukti and your Sattva by selecting preferred dravyas. And when I say when you are selecting a dravya, it's obvious you need to do prana pratishtapana to that particular dravya, and then you are giving to that vyadhi. So many cases where I've seen, which is not a drug of choice, acts as a drug of choice to that particular person and that particular condition. How you are doing your own prana pratishtapana and you are using your energy, not your energy, which is given by the nature, and you are acting as a media, and then give it to him. It makes a real difference in what is happening with a very single drug or very minimal drug usage. And this is where you need to use both Yukti Vyapashya and Sattva Vajaya. That's how the order is, Daiva, Yukti and Sattva. So when you enter the Daiva Vyapashya, that is when you enter to the Yukti, Avyakta Avastha, where you start using your Yukti of your knowledge of the Shastra, which you have studied for all those years, and then pick up the things and then involve or improvise it with your prana, and then do the chikitsa or the sattva vajaya, whatever. So this is a very important thing where we need to understand. Only then the person or the vaidya becomes a real pranabhisara or jividhabhisara, as mentioned, and can serve the society in a right manner, or you can fulfill the purpose. So here there's the one. I initiate the discussion related to this topic, and we shall all meet physically on 18th of August. Thank you. Namaste.